5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Intro's playing. Good morning, everyone on the Above the Yellow Line YouTube, Facebook, and X accounts, as well as everybody in the TikTok shuffling in. Come on down, get yourself a front row seat here. The Splash and Dash Morning Show is about to unfold. We have a wildly robust week to look back on here. If you haven't been paying attention to what went down this past weekend at Martinsville, how do we fill 2 hours worth, Sal? Well, this week we are going to hit it and have plenty to talk about. So, morning, Swamp Yeti. How we doing? Everybody's filing in, shuffling into the chat. We have lots to go over. So, we had quite a truck series nail biter, an Xfinity Wreck Fest. A lot of great fan reaction out there this weekend. Denny Hamlin was probably the favorite this week at the Cup Series, for good reason. I think it was the first time he's come all the way back, first time he's gone back to victory lane in over a decade at Martinsville. But we got some good race recaps, some good points, some updates, spotlights, and there's one particular person on X this week that stuck out to me. I can't tell if it's satire or not. So I'm going to ask for some help from you guys on that at some point as we move forward this morning. But I encourage you, if you are lurking in the chat, give us your thoughts this morning. Good morning, John, on YouTube. How we doing, man? Because it was quite the action-packed filled weekend. So we'll touch on it all. My kind of job here, when I started out at ATYL, was to talk Xfinity series, and they're certainly giving us something to talk about this week. So we'll kind of roll into it in a little bit of we'll roll into it softly, because there's a lot that we could say, and a lot that we will say, but it's just a matter of how we want to get there. But if you had a favorite moment this weekend, I'd love to hear what your favorite moment of the weekend was. Truck Xfinity and Cup racing. Doesn't have to be the most controversial moment. My favorite moment was when they were doing the interview in front of the hot dog stand, and Chris Myers ate the hot dog sideways like a real just total animal. He just bit it from the top and ripped it in half. Guy's a dog. He's just out here just chucking down glizzies like it's like his day job. But yeah, no, there were some fun moments this weekend from Martinsville. They have fun at this track. I thought the racing was pretty good in general, beside the Xfinity series. Loved Mike Joy's comments on the Xfinity series this week, calling it a dumpster fire on the national broadcast for Cup Series. I think he does that on purpose, because that's part of the solution. But Wallace is looking good. I'll tell you what, that he's one of my talking points down this big long sheet of things to cover today. But while you're here, yeah, Bubba Wallace looks good, feels good, plays good. I know he holds himself to a very high expectation, but getting 2 podium finishes like that, I think gives them the kind of momentum that really will set it on fire for them this year. Some of the comments I've seen on NASCAR's tweet about him, the win is coming soon. Oh my God. People gotta remember that they when they speak, the rest of the world can see what they type on the internet. It's crazy. Good morning, Adam. That was an insane Xfinity series race at Martinsville, ready for throwback weekend at Darlington. Yeah, there's some good Darlington throwbacks that are popping up. I think the Xfinity series might have the Cup Series beat in terms of like quality of throwbacks. Maybe it's just a nostalgia thing for me, but I saw a Yoo-Hoo one last night. I've seen a Kodak throwback scheme in the Xfinity series. I've seen a Crown Royal one. Cup Series has some good ones. Kyle Larson, the Hendrick guys have really, really nice ones. If you have a favorite one, I'd love to pull them up on stream as we go through today. So, your favorite Darlington Xfinity scheme, or your favorite Darlington throwback scheme, drop that one down in the chat for us if you have a couple. There's some questionable die casts that will be purchased. There always are this time of year. I've made a contract with myself not to buy a die cast in the 2025 season, and we've gotten through this much of the year so far, and I haven't yet. I haven't so much as looked. I think I looked for Truex for the Daytona race in the 56, but I haven't looked since then. But we'll see. All right, we'll kick things off with the Truck Series. This was the Boys and Girls Club of Blue Ridge 200. Christian Eckes is our winner. First win of 2025, third at Martinsville. He is a short track guy. He's figured out a way to get around the paperclip in the trucks. He started second, led 92 laps, and just beat Corey Heim by the skin of his teeth there in a shootout situation. I think it was probably something with Eckes where he was just restarting better than the rest of the field. On that final restart, he locks things in on it. I don't know if untouchable is the right word. I used that in my note, but he certainly had a leg up on the rest of the field in terms of the way he was able to restart there. His team set that truck up in a way that gave him that major advantage. And we know at Martinsville, if you can get out in front and not be running side by side, you can make things happen for yourself and put yourself in position to win. Now, I've talked a lot about we've talked about Corey Heim a lot in the Truck Series in general this year, just because he's always at the front. I mean, there's nowhere it's his home up there, P1. He's could have won almost every race this year so far, but had some things happen, and he comes in a solid P2 today. He led 40 laps and almost stole the race at the end there. He is still the points leader, however, so it is still the Corey Heim Truck Series. There's a reason that he's doing development work with 2311. There's a reason that thing is always way out in front, and there's a reason he's leading in the points already this season. So a P2 finish for the 11 truck. Ty Majeski, 50 laps led, but just had a bad stop. It's something that happens at Martinsville. The smallest errors are amplified on the biggest stage. Are my notes wrong? What notes am I looking at? We're having a tough morning, I guess. These motherfuckers. They did. They got me with the bad notes. They did. All right. Take it all back. I take it all back. Matty Cox, good morning. Denny Hamlin, the 11 car, won this weekend in the Cup race. I take it all back, though, about the Truck Series. Take it all back. I don't know what this is, what information it's giving me here, but it is incorrect. I hate the internet sometimes. I'm just out here feeding you all NASCAR disinformation. I'm just here to cause chaos. So, thank you. Big thanks to John Ray, because John caught us before we really drowned ourselves this morning. In the Truck Series, Daniel Hemrick was the winner. Tyler Ankrum, P2, Jake Garcia, P3, Chandler Smith, Ben Rhodes, Corey Heim finished 6th. Andreas Perez in 7th, Raja Kurth in 8th, Stuart Friesen with another finish toward the front, 9th place, top 10. Lawless Allen squeaked his way up to the 10th place finish. I didn't watch much of the truck race, to be honest with you. I was really relying on those notes. So not awesome that they were not accurate. My note sources are we're gonna have to hold their feet to the fire. But Corey Haim certainly seems to be the next like up and comer at 2311. I think I have some opinions on what'll happen at that team. I think Dennis the Menace is going to end up moving over to 2311 at some point in the future, even though he won this weekend. I think there's a time in the Joe Gibbs racing world where there may be an opportunity to have somebody else sit in the 11 car or go back to the 18 car. So maybe it's something that we see a Denny Hamlin, driving for the team he owns. And then, I don't think it's really early on, really tough to say, oh, Tyler Reddick or Bubba Wallace won't be racing for 2311. I don't think even insinuating that rumors like that exist is a good thing, because it's not. But yeah, there's definitely an opportunity once all the lawsuit stuff calms down and they figure out what they're going to be doing moving forward. They have the third charter. Riley Herbst is in it right now. He's brand new in it. It's going to take some time to see some success there, but wouldn't be surprised if Hamlin slips over to his own team or Haim comes up and tries to put some pressure on these guys who are sitting in those cup rides. Maddie, how you doing this morning, buddy? How's WWE treating you? How's them boys doing out there? Tell me a little bit about what John Cena's up to these days. Friend of the chat, Matty Cox, big WWE guy. I don't know much about WWE, but I know John Cena's back, and I know that I love it. But yeah, Truck Series has been really good this year. I feel like it hasn't been the crash 'em up derby that we have been prone to in previous years. I mean, the host of our era of the Truck Series, thank God, is over. And we see some really good competitive racing now. Surprise of the season for me, Friesen. Dude's been consistent with speed after a few rough seasons. Yeah, I mean, he's carried a lot of good momentum throughout the year this year. I think the biggest time, when I really noticed him doing the best, was Atlanta. He running up there with Kyle Busch and just some little slippery things just ended up catching him out. But I don't know if I had ever had it on my bingo card that Stuart Friesen would battle at the lead after the last couple of years. Like you said, some rough seasons. Yeah, it looks like I have the stuff from 2024. So I do have the right notes for the Xfinity series, though. That's the important one. Outside of the finishers, we have some key moments, though, where Luke Baldwin started out his Truck Series career with not Tricon. Sorry, my brain's got to go at a pace that it can make it happen. Luke Baldwin in the truck for Thor Sport Motorsports this weekend. Coming up, his dad now, big Tommy Baldwin out there on Door Bumper Clear. They've been a modifieds family in the Northeast and in the Southeast and in all over God's creation now for a long time. So it's cool to see that natural progression, moving up. He started P18. Let me make sure I get my information right. Finished 22nd. Not an easy race, Martinsville, to make your debut. I'll tell you that. I mean, you have some of the best. There's some big name drivers that are out of this race early. Grant Enfinger, Corey Day, everyone's favorite Malcolm. Because the finishes here are just so sporadic, and they're so difficult to get to. It's not easy to get to the end of a race at Martinsville. Corey Haim did have the fastest lap, though, which means something this year. It's also highlighted in purple on the NASCAR website. So let's see, where did No. Luke Baldwin started 27th and finished 22nd. So a five spot day for Luke Baldwin in his debut, um, in the beaten and banging wild world of trucks. Stuart Friesen started 12th and he finished in 9th. So you just see like there's gains to be made. I don't think it's like it's hard to make, oh yeah, I'm gonna get 5 spots back in 20 laps, or I'm gonna get 3 spots back on pit. It's so difficult to really make major inroads here at Martinsville because again, like your pit stop has to be the fastest pit stop on pit road. So, and if you make mistakes, they are magnified. Thank you, Jesse, for the. Oh, we got little five little coins. Ooh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, now I'm nervous, guys. I'm nervous to keep using my notes, but I will soldier on. I promise. But that's kind of the whole deal with the truck series. Oh, this is news. Yeah, 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 yeah. Less about the truck series, more about the sport in general. But the big headline this morning: Steve Phelps has been named NASCAR's first commissioner. This is a move that I don't know if people really saw coming or people understand why now is the time. I would imagine there's other business priorities and objectives outside of just NASCAR, because NASCAR does own other, entities and IP that maybe they want to have somebody who's an overarching kind of leader on. But NASCAR announced that the appointment of Steve Phelps as commissioner of NASCAR to be the first named to this newly created role, overseeing all aspects of America's top motorsport, including the International Motorsports Association, IMSA, and all 15 NASCAR owned and operated tracks. Additionally, Steve O'Donnell, longtime industry leader and current COO, will succeed Phelps in the critical role of NASCAR president with day to day leadership of all 3 national series and all NASCAR commercial media and track operations, as well as its 4 international series and multiple local grassroots properties. Both roles are effective immediately and will be based in Daytona Beach, Florida. So, kind of a little bit of a move, a little bit of a shakeup in the leadership that affects all of the series. I think Steve Phelps has been really good for the sport. I think he's been a real deal leader. I don't think he's just a boardroom guy. So it's definitely been a situation where he's tried to work toward the better overall good of NASCAR racing in the Truck Xfinity and Cup Series. So hopefully he'll get some good opportunities to do that at this new commissioner level for IMSA. So IMSA fans, hold on to your hats. If there maybe there's some integration between these two entities now, between NASCAR and IMSA and a couple other things. But what I also didn't realize this weekend was that, the Xfinity Series does the Dash for Cash. And the Truck Series has a similar program where they do the Truck Series Triple Truck Challenge throughout 2025. Started in 2019, the Trip is a program that rewards drivers for their financially for their performances during a 3-race stretch. Um, you just have to collect Craftsman Truck Series points, run really good at Martinsville, run really good at Bristol, and run really good at Rockingham. And the better you run, the more points you get, the bigger the check ends up being. So that's what happens here with Hemrick. He got a $50,000 check on top of his win. So he'll get that first win of the year and put some cash in his pocket. I mean, couple Xfinity drivers put cash in their pocket this weekend too. Austin Hill, the winner of that race, put $100,000 in his pocket for the Dash for Cash. Okay. Yeah, the Xfinity Series is the big one. It's one that we're going to probably spend most of our morning talking about. Austin Hill is the eventual winner, but it could have been about 10 different people. It's the second win. I'm sorry. It is RCR's 100th Xfinity win. See, now I can't trust my notes. I have note misinformation syndrome. I realize how many different series RCR has started in. 258 Cup Series starts for RCR. 258. Where does this information? Where do people get information? You like Google things now, and like you can't believe anything. What a strange way to frame this information. Maybe my brain's not working well this morning. That probably has something to do with it, but I just want to make sure I'm not like just totally not correct with the information that I'm being provided with. And I don't, it's RCR's 100th win. So I don't know if that's an Xfinity level, I believe. So big news for Austin Hill, though, who's going to put himself in a great position for the rest of the year. Usually we see him at drafting tracks. Usually we see him at mile and a halves. But this weekend, it was all just such a big mess that he just squeaked his way toward the front there at the end on that final lap. Chaos. I mean, the guy who was leading the race, where did he finish? Did he not finish? I mean, Sammy Smith ended up finishing 10th, and he was in P2. Taylor Gray, and he going back and forth all night long. Taylor Gray ended up finishing 29th. So there's a lot to unpack with the Xfinity Series stuff. But Hill wins this race. He drove it from P4 all the way up to the front. Just kind of bully balled his way through there at the end while the rest of the field was wrecking each other. It was a mess. I don't think the way Hill went through there at the end made a lot of sense. I think he saw a little bit of daylight, saw a guy in front of him, didn't really care if he had to pinball him out of his way or not. It just turned into one of those deals where I'm coming through now. I can see the checkered. Here I come. So, I know there's been some choice words thrown around by a few people about a few drivers in the Xfinity Series, especially this race at Martinsville. And I think Austin Hill's one of them. Winning is a good deodorant to that, where it's like, oh, well, he did that thing, but he won. But there's certainly some others as you shuffle back through this top 10 list that didn't end so hot for them. Sheldon Creed, can you believe it? Another P2 finish, his 14th P2 in the Xfinity Series in his career. Just, I don't know. The day this guy wins, his head's going to explode. I don't even know if he's going to be excited. I think it's going to be more relieved than excitement at a certain point. Justin Allgaier finished in third. Brennan Poole, a name we don't typically see, up toward the front, a top 5 finish. Just running quietly, keeping himself out of trouble, keeping the car in one piece. Car had a lot of speed. It's not just about luck, but that car had some speed, and he ends up in the top 5. Sam Mayer, another one of these drivers who you're looking at with the side eye. Guy who complained to high heaven about how, oh, I don't have a cup ride. I should be considered for a cup ride. Cup ride, cup ride, cup ride, cup ride, cup ride. Wasn't super impressed with the way that Sam Mayer went about it. He just barreling through the field as you're trying to get back to the end of the race. I don't understand some of the moves, some of the thought process there. You know, it's not wrong to not finish first, to not win every race. You race every single week. You are, you'll get another opportunity. But he barreled through, who was it? AJ Allmendinger? Who did he barrel through? Let me make sure. Let me go back here. No, he barreled through Christian Eckes. Sorry. He barrels through Christian Eckes in the 16. Just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Let's see if I can pull up the clip. A ton though of torn up race cars. It looks like Sam Mayer was quite pleased with himself after the Martinsville race. Yeah, the contact was with Christian Eckes. He just drove through him. Just drives right through him. You're not going to get very far in any sport by just beating the doors off somebody. And when you look back, the record book will show that it was a top 5 for him. But at what cost to his reputation? I think car owners see it. They're looking at it now more than ever. I get that drivers bring money to the table, but you need to have brand safety and have drivers that are, that meet your needs. And I don't know if some of these drivers, the way that they've approached some of these late race situations, they really line up with the values of some of the teams that may have opportunities moving forward. Dean Thompson finishes 6th. Daniel Dye, a top 10 finish. Well, there was some Jeb Burton was getting mad at Daniel Dye. There was a little bit of crossed hairs there, but I think after they kind of saw how the rest of the race unfolded, it's tough to get angry at somebody when the rest of the field clears each other out. Ryan Sieg in 7th, Chris Wright in 8th, and Sammy Smith, or I'm sorry, Ryan Sieg in 8th, Chris Wright in 9th, and Sammy Smith in 10th. The big talking point again. Taylor Gray leads 87 laps only to be driven through, not spun, not moved, not shuffled up out of the way, driven through, obliterated from behind, and destroyed by the 8 of Sammy Smith. It was the Austin Dillon Richmond deal all over again. And I don't know what goes through somebody's mind as they're making that choice to say to themselves, I'm not going to even make an attempt to slow down or to stop or to make the corner. At the speed he was carrying, if he doesn't make contact with Taylor Gray, he's about 15 rows deep into the grandstands, So it's really curious to me that that was the choice you made. I get everybody wants to race for a win. Everybody wants to get that time at the front of the field. You want that big walk-off moment. You want to win the money. You want to lock yourself into the playoffs. But Sammy Smith you can't do that. You can't. I hope that there's consequences. I think there should have been something that happened right there in the moment. I think it's hard now to go back and retroactively say, oh, we're going to suspend you or dock you points or hit you with some type of, you know, some type of fine or something. But it's tough. I think the saving grace of the situation for Sammy Smith is that he drives for Dale Jr. and Dale Jr. has come out and talked many times about how he doesn't appreciate that type of racing. And if that's how you're going to race for him, I would imagine he's going to have something to say about it. And he's the boss. So that's not so different of an opinion from what Brad Keselowski had to say about the situation, where it's more about the car owners than it is about the sanctioning body and NASCAR coming out and making something happen to intervene and get these guys to behave. But I think part of it is the car owner. Not every driver in the Xfinity series deserves to be there. You know, there's surely drivers at other levels of motorsports that would love to have an Xfinity ride and don't, because they don't have a situation where they can turn their pockets out or they have a big name sponsor that comes attached with them. A lot of drivers in the Xfinity series do have that situation. And when you listen to Kyle Petty talk about it with Kevin Harvick, I think he brings up the best point. Mark Martin talks about it with DBC too. Guys come up now and they're not working on their own stuff. They're not wrenching on their own machines. And it's the iRacing mentality where I can go in here and do this thing and make this move, and I'll hit the reset button and the car will be rolled off the hauler again next week and I'll give it another try. And I think to some degree, the win and you're in stuff only amplifies that. But it's just not a good look. It's not a good look. There has to be some type of policing that happens. I thought it was wild that officials held, Taylor Gray and Sammy Smith back from each other. I thought they should have let them. You guys want to get into it? Go ahead. You already embarrassed yourselves on the track. Finish up. Just finish it up. And maybe that kind of altercation that out of the car helps to, hey, if you're going to do that to me, I'm going to beat your brakes off. Maybe that helps avoid issues in the future, but it's hard to say. Sammy Smith might have drove poorly, but it was still a good week for Junior Motorsports as a whole team. Yeah, it was. Let's see. Justin Allgaier ended up coming home in P3. He's having another great year. Smith 10th. Carson Kvapil dropping down a little further, 20th place. Connor Zilic ran a good day. Didn't go his way in the end. Just got absolutely bowled over. Ended up bringing it home 28th. That car had a ton of damage on it. But yeah, they had a good day. Yeah, the win and you're in model is very much so the biggest catalyst of the issue, for sure, where I have to win to get in. I can't get into the playoff, can't compete for a title any other way. You can point your way in, but it's with the way that the technology is now, the racing is tighter and faster and more competitive than it's ever been before. It's harder to do that. So there's still not an excuse for driving through guys like that. I think it's the same reaction. The same way I felt about it last year with Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon last year, though, it was worse because there was playoff implications there. Good morning, Dom. How we doing, brother? Hopefully we're living a wonderful good morning on Tuesday. Smith said it himself, second isn't good enough of a day anymore. Well, I mean, I think he's wrong. I think you can finish second. I think you make a conscious choice at a certain part of that corner to say to yourself, I'm going to finish second, because it hurts him even more not to finish at all or to finish 10th. Yeah, the mentality is definitely gone somewhere. It's definitely not the right mentality. You're right. I mean, it's very much so the iRacers mentality. I'm gonna finish in first because I might never get a chance to finish first again, and do whatever I have to get there. Meanwhile, Sammy Smith's been running the Xfinity series for a long time. Like you'll get back, you'll get him again. You'll get a chance if you continue to behave well and race with respect. You'll continue to race at the Xfinity level. You'll continue to have good relationships with team owners and other drivers on the track. You'll continue to be able to nurture relationships with your sponsors and have good connections in the industry to pursue your goals of finishing in first. Nobody's going to finish first the first time or the 10th, even the 10th time. You're not, it takes 100 races for some guys to finally catch a checkered. So it's like you can't be as impatient as they are in this situation. I wonder if all of this behavior will, Dom in the YouTube chat. This is another ripple down effect of the points no longer mattering. Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. And I wonder if this will be what spurs changes to the playoff system ultimately, where if guys are just going to clean each other out, and this is what the product the product is creating, the playoff product, it's not what they want. It's a detriment. The playoff system was incorporated into NASCAR in that bracket style win and you're in way to make it more exciting, but not make it embarrassing for the sport. It's not supposed to be this crazy monster jam style demolition derby because you need to finish first. And I feel bad for Taylor Gray. I mean, he had the fastest car on track. That thing was out front the whole way. They did set a new record overall though for cautions in the Xfinity series. So the whole thing was kind of a mess. Morning, Matt. Morning. Get rid of winning you're in, and that might clean up the racing just a little. Yeah, I mean, I definitely would reward more consistent racing. The point system alone rewards consistency. So it'd be interesting to see how they approach it moving forward. I think it's a tough ask to ask them to change the playoffs, to be honest. It's what we all kind of are talking about and wanting. But I think from the entertainment side, I think it's hard for NASCAR to sit there and go, okay, well, this one situation happens. We're going to change the whole playoff format. I don't know. There's Denny Hamlin talked about like avoidable contact penalties, and you get into some pretty serious muddy water there, especially with the way the rules are written as it is, in terms of like everything in the NASCAR rule book at the end says at NASCAR's discretion. Nobody really knows what that means. What it essentially means, though, is they can change the rule based on the situation at their discretion at any time. So it's interesting that it'll be interesting to see if they make any major rule changes based on this one instance. But to have Mike Joyce call the Xfinity Series a dumpster fire during the Cup Series broadcast is wild. I love it. I'm here for it because public shaming is really the best way to get these people to figure it out. Truly. I don't know. We have to remember this system was adopted in an era when one team won six of the nine last points championships. It was an attempt to dismantle a dynasty in the name of entertainment. You're right. I remember in that era of NASCAR, Jimmy Johnson just winning and winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. It did not provide a ton of excitement if you weren't like the biggest Jimmy Johnson fan. It was hard to be a fan of other drivers because it felt like the deck was stacked against you from the very start. But if he's the best driver, if he's the best team, he should win. And the entertainment factor definitely has started to play a role where the sport needs to be seen as entertaining and competing with other entertaining sports. That game 7 moment, that walk-off moment is not an easy moment to capture in sports. Baseball has done it really, really well. Hockey, even better. Basketball has done it over the years, depending on matchups and players and talent, and has done it well as well. But it's not easy to do in motorsports where we're gonna build this for entertainment and a walk-off win for a championship. Um, I mean, you see the way that the playoffs kind of fell into place last year with Logano at the Cup level. Ran okay all year, hung in there, caught a good, it was at the right place at the right time. Bowman gets a penalty. He slip slides his way in there and just turns it on at the right moments. Gets hot at the right times. A very NFL playoff style for Logano last year. So I don't know. We could go on and on about playoff formats forever. But I think Dom, you have a good point. You make a good point. Where you're changing things in the name of entertainment. How much of this is entertainment driven and how much of this is competition driven? Uh, I don't want to be the person to sit here and question the competition level of the highest level of American stock car racing. I don't think I'm qualified to question it. I don't know enough about all of the competitiveness of each team and each driver and each person in each shop that sets these things up and builds strategy and works toward these results that they're going after. I think NASCAR overall though is definitely looking for something they can put on TV though before they're looking for another situation where someone's winning 6 of 9 points championships. So, in my opinion, there's rough driving like that again, take the win away and have the driver finish to the back of the lead lap. I think that's kind of what the feeling was after the fact was that maybe, okay, stop the throw caution, black flag them, put them to the back, and that's it. If there's time for it. I think that was a lot of what I saw on like X over the weekend after things had hemmed up. So I think that's part of the solution for sure. Where if you're gonna get silly, we're just gonna send you to the back. And in a lot of other racing series too, like I know Shane Van Gisbergen comes from a supercar world where they don't allow any contact. So we're already more spoiled than we should be in terms of, rubbing his racing or let the boys have at it. Like they don't do that in other racing series anywhere else in the world, really. Just in the United States, the late model stock cars, modifieds, NASCAR, but like anything open wheel, they're not beating and banging against each other. There's nothing to beat and bang on. That's kind of the open wheel deal. But it's just interesting to try to ideate some solutions because it is an aggravating thing to watch as a fan. I can only imagine how aggravating it is to be a part of that as a competitor in that moment. I tell you what, I certainly wouldn't have the professional composure if I was Taylor Gray to keep it together at any point in the future when asked about this. You have to imagine that there's some kind of payback that Sammy Smith is going to get the next time the 54 is nearby. What will that turn into? That's always a question that gets asked in these situations where, okay, well, now you got one guy who did it. You see nobody sees the first punch; they see the last punch, and it'll be interesting to see kind of what the thought is moving forward for the 54 team. If they get the chance to wreck the 8, are they going to do it? Are they gonna just flat out wreck them the next time they get close enough to make contact with them? Would be wild if the situation arose again where maybe the 54 could take a win away from the 8 later in the year. But I don't know. It's not the part of the sport you want to talk about. What you want to sit here and talk about is an Xfinity Series race in Martinsville where 2 of the fastest cars all day were drag racing to the finish. That's what you want to talk about. You don't want to talk about how there's a 15 car pileup behind them as they take the checkered. I like that idea, Matt. We've talked about that here a few times in the past. Setting limits for green white checkers. 2 or 3, I think, is the answer. Maybe 2. I like 2 green white checkers. If you can't figure it out after that, it finishes under caution. That's hopefully that would try to corral some of the behavior where I don't like drivers shouldn't want to finish under green white, or I'm sorry, yellow flag finishes. They shouldn't want that. So if you tell them, okay, you get 2 shots at a green white checkered, and they can't hold it together the first few times, maybe they get a little bit more well behaved as that system is in place. But oh man, I don't know. It's that comment from Dom that the system is adopted in an era where one team won 6 of the last 9 points championships and is an attempt to dismantle a dynasty in the name of entertainment. That's the one that just get that, put that on a billboard somewhere. Because that's the reason that this whole situation is the way that it is. I love the Sammy Smith post-race interview. I mean, talk about dying on a hill. His justification for the whole thing was that, oh, well, he was flipping me off under the red, and he moved me in one of the corners. And I mean, I stumble over the words because I know just the level of garbage coming out of his mouth when he's making those excuses. And I get it. You're in the moment, but like your whole career is now going to be put under a microscope because you can't just be okay with finishing second one race. Like, live to fight another day. Live to have good relationships on the track with your competitors, whether they're your teammates or not. And all that for an Austin Hill win. I mean, Austin Hill always runs good. He's a veteran. He ran through his own teammate, Austin Hill, to get up there. So it's just a product of the series right now. It's like the truck series tomfoolery has now graduated up to the Xfinity series in some ways. There'll be a Darlington this weekend, which is a fun one. It's it's a razor's edge kind of track, so who knows what we could see happen there. Oh man. Yeah, a lot of the reaction too. I've tried to include like tweets of reactions from folks online. I don't think there was anyone that sat there and said, "Yeah, man, that was a good finish." I don't think there was anything that really anyone out there who really was holding that opinion after all this. But 15 cautions was the way that this all went down. So guys will wonder, "Oh, why don't I have a cup ride? Why are they pulling guys right out of the truck series?" Boggles the mind. Sammy Smith did have the fastest lap of the race, a 20.49 at Martinsville. And we'll talk about some point standing stuff, but we're going to get all the way through all 3 series. So I'm sure we'll loop back on some of the conversation about the Xfinity series as people pop in. Thank you for the rose. But the Cup Series race I thought was really good. I heard some people say it was kind of a snoozer, but I thought it was really good. I had fun watching it after watching the Saturday night race. I was there for a little bit of boring. I like that. I thought the tire was great. It did fall off maybe almost too quickly. It didn't really give them a ton of opportunity to pass without getting the elbows out a scrooch. But I thought this race was entertaining, and I thought the fastest car won. The best driver and the fastest car won the race on the day. So Denny Hamlin gets that first win. New crew chief, new team set up. Gabe Hart's not there with him. Gabe Hart's been promoted to competition director. So there was some questioning about like, oh, what's his competitiveness level going to be? And it's still Denny Hamlin. That doesn't change anything. New sponsor with Progressive. Things are looking up for the 11. It's his first win of 2025, his 6th at Martinsville, and his 55th career win, tying Rusty Wallace all time. He led the majority of the race, including the 74 final laps after a late caution. I mean, he beat P2 Christopher Bell by almost 5 seconds. Once they got around to the lap traffic, it seemed you were really able to put that distance between you and the guy behind you. Because it's even if you're lap traffic, you're not going to pull like way up and ride the wall and ruin your race. You stay on the outside line and give the inside to the driver on the lead lap. But it's hard to navigate traffic at Martinsville. All right, my top 10 finishers are correct in this series. Thank God. Now I'm double checking myself every time. Oh no, they're not accurate here. I don't know where this pulled this data from, but it is not correct. Denny Hamlin wins the race, fastest lap of the race. Absolute, just good old fashioned whooping. That's kind of what this was to me. This is his home track. He's from this area. Or is Richmond his home track? This is Martinsville's in Virginia. Richmond is in Virginia. Either way, he's from Virginia. He's winning in Virginia. This is where he kind of belongs. Christopher Bell had a great day. He started on the pole, finishes second. Bubba Wallace, another great performance from Bubba. Let me tell you, this guy is pushing the boundaries of what they thought this team could do. Just the whole team. Another driver that went through a crew chief change, and there were question marks. Is this going to be better? Is it going to be worse? How's the relationship going to be? What's the strategy going to be like? What does the car have? And we very much so seen Bubba kind of, the 45 has fallen off a little bit for 2311, going through kind of a rough run here. But 2311 staying competitive with the 23 car, still finishing up at the front. This is a Toyota 1-2-3 finish, by the way. So it's not, while he probably isn't super satisfied not being able to finish and win, I think he's setting himself up for just such success moving forward. So hopefully we'll see more good things come from Bubba Wallace. I'm sure we will. Ultimately putting himself in victory lane. I think that's on the bingo card this year. Chase Elliott, who people had started to say things about, funny that he ends up with a 4th place finish. People were scratching their heads about the performance of the 9. By far the ugliest Darlington throwback scheme. I don't know who's doing him dirty like that, but yeah, Chase Elliott though, just being able to stay, position by attrition all day, just staying consistent. Didn't have the fastest car, wasn't going to beat Denny Hamlin in the end, but really got a good result and really is building himself a little bit of momentum going into next week. Kyle Larson, no surprise, finishing top 5. Ross Chastain, kind of saw him coming and going all day long, but ends up finishing in 6th place. Trackhouse has been a team that's had me scratching my head the last couple of weeks. It's one of those deals where, Ross Chastain performed really well when he was out there ruffling feathers. And since then, it's been a little bit of a different story where, he's kind of calmed himself down, his racing style, and he's not out there ripping the bumpers off of other guys' cars anymore, which I think is good. I don't think you should have guys doing, crazy things where they're not, it goes beyond a level of, oh, I'm being competitive to, oh, I'm just being an ass. But love it for Ross. Hopefully it's something. I think Ross adds a great level of excitement to the sport when he's running up at the front, toward the front in the mix with everybody. Ryan Preece was the key to victory for Sal in the ATYL points battle this week with a 7th place finish. Took him a while to get it going, to get up there. Yeah, I don't think it was until the 3rd stage toward the end of the race there, a couple of restarts. They played some good strategy, and Ryan Preece is a short track master, modified guy. I think his season this year has really shown you maybe just how limited he was in terms of resources in the past, because this is his 3rd top 10 finish, I think. I mean, that's no small feat. From a guy who they were talking about him going back down running the Xfinity series, maybe not even being in the Cup series anymore, to get the opportunity to be in the 60 and do what he's done so far this year has been awesome. Joey Logano, probably understandably frustrated this week. He got caught up in quite a bit. I know Ross and he were beating and banging against each other for a while. I know he had some comments post race about it, how he's tired of paying the price. So I wouldn't be surprised if you saw some hard racing in the future between the 22 and the 1. Chase Briscoe, we know the 19 team has always performed well here. Martin Truex Jr. was a repeat winner at Martinsville over the years. So I expected to see a little more out of the 19, but I think a top 10 day is enough to, again, just build some confidence. This 19 team is one that could be down below the bottom of the basement in points after their Daytona penalty that was ultimately not enforced. It was overturned, but I think they're building momentum and they're making the most of their opportunities. Hopefully they can work toward a win this year. I think that's what people are expecting from them, but got to get there. Got to take the path there. So, morning, Jaybird. How we doing this morning? Ross talks to people about being too aggressive and then shows them what not to do. Yeah. I thought it was funny that he was the first person to talk to Hocevar after Atlanta. When Hocevar pulled the most Chastain move of all time. So. Todd Gilliland rounds out the top 10 in that 34 car. So, are there no gearing options that would eliminate shifting at Martinsville and other short tracks? Does the 5-speed mean they'll always shift? I don't think there's any plans for them to adjust the gearing at short tracks to make them not shift. I think you're going to see them shift moving forward as long as they have this sequential gearbox and this next gen car, the way that it's set up for all the teams. It is interesting. I can't imagine if this was not a sequential box and you had to, like back in the day where you had to just bang it through the H pattern and really rev match and and be competitive in that way at these short tracks. It is not an easy thing to do. It takes a ton of concentration, it takes a ton of skill. But I don't know if you're going to ever get to a place where you're just not shifting at a place like Martinsville. Ryan Blaney brought it home 11th. He was somebody who I thought was going to perform really well this week, and I guess he did. He got caught up in some weird things, and there was some pit road stuff, and doesn't always work out. Again, the minor things are amplified, especially on pit road. Michael McDowell in the Rockingham scheme this week, promoting their racing next week or 2 weeks from now. I thought that car was really cool. I thought that was cool that Rockingham did that. They sponsored a car at another track to build some hype for their race. Car looked good. It was clean looking. So that was a cool little homage to another racetrack they're going back to this year. Ty Gibbs, 13th. I thought this was a great day for Ty Gibbs. We talked about the Ty Gibbs alarm going off. Are you worried about Ty Gibbs? Should Ty Gibbs be concerned? His competitiveness level, this and that and the other. And while Ty Gibbs has great job security, yeah, maybe, he'd like to be performing better. He does want to win. He is an Xfinity Series champion. There's a certain pedigree that he probably feels he needs to hold himself to. And it looks like a 13th place finish on paper, which most people wouldn't go, wow. But I think this was a good step in the right direction for the 54 team. It could have been even better. It could have been even better if he had not, gotten caught up and gotten some contact with Reddick in the 45. One of those deals where, they figure it out after the race and they chat with each other. But I think Reddick just stuck his nose somewhere trying to make something work to get ahead, because your passing opportunities at Martinsville are very limited. And I think Gibbs expected to get a little bit more leeway from him in that moment. Tyler Reddick in 14th, Ty Dillon in 15th, Zane Smith finishes 16th. RCR finishes back-to-back, 17th and 18th. Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon. Hocevar in 19th, Ricky Stenhouse 20th, Suarez in 21st. Byron outside of the top 20 for the first time. It was a tough one for him this week. He took some damage early and just couldn't recover. Allmendinger 23rd, Busher in 24th. Busher and who's it? Busher and Gregson getting together there a couple of times, or Busher and Hocevar getting together. Cindric too. I don't know what they're going to do with him. He's quietly becoming a menace. So I don't know what they're going to do with that situation. They already kind of gave him a little bit of grace after Coda. Look at this new. Oh, they have like a wild new Okay. The two just kind of getting into it with I think it was the 35 of Riley Herbst. Just not. What are we doing? What are we doing? We don't have to do that. But they do. Josh Berry finished outside the top 30. They had a battery issue in those Penske cars. Well, Penske prepared cars. Saw batteries getting pulled in, getting pulled out, trying to figure it out. So hurt their day. But that kind of rounds it out. Casey Mears was in this race. You'd never know it. That 66 car, not exactly the most competitive piece on track. And Eric Jones ends up getting DQ'd at the end of that one for minimum weight requirement. So Eric Jones was out there too, kind of beating and banging all day too. So I'm not surprised maybe he didn't meet minimum weight. Maybe something fell off of it, or maybe they just didn't prep it right. But DQ'd after the race, kind of a random check, but they sent him to the back. What's going to happen with the future of the Xfinity race and late race racing moves for the win? So we talked a little bit about it earlier in the show, and I think we have some better formed thought now. But there has to be in the moment decision making, and there has to be in the moment consequences for the actions, for sure. Whether that means a black flag or it means, throwing a caution and freezing the field, sending that car to the back, whether it means a suspension, depending on how egregious future situations are. They can't let it fester is really what's important. I used Brad Keselowski's comments about team owners. Will team owners be the ones who have to step up and take control over their drivers? Perhaps it might not be a series thing, a sanctioning body thing where they feel like they need to step in and get involved. Maybe they need to have conversations internally. Say, hey, if you're going to race like that, you're not going to race for me. I think it's hard with the win and you're in playoff format. And I think another arm of it that's hard too is that a lot of these young Xfinity drivers come to these teams with a bag of cash or with a big sponsor that supports them. And it's not easy for teams that have to, pay their employees to help feed their families, to run a business. It's hard for them to turn those folks away. But if this is what they're going to do, and this is how you're going to race with this entitlement complex and this desperation to become, this desperation to finish first always at all costs, like second isn't good enough ever. Maybe there's future considerations that these drivers are going to miss out on because they're driving the way that they drive now. I think Sam Mayer is a good example of that. Let me click back over here. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, it was a Toyota podium sweep, though, in the Cup Series. We love that for them. I mean, I'm here. I'm definitely game to talk some more Xfinity Series because there's lots to talk about. I still think the Xfinity Series is a great series. I think it's super competitive. I think it's a great series to be entertained by. But I think there's a fine line. There's a gray area. And when we go to these types of short tracks, it's not good to see this kind of racing go on. I haven't seen anybody try to defend Sammy Smith's move online yet. Um, I'd love to hear if somebody is going to do that. Sure would be an interesting take to have. You know, I think the Truck Series has gotten better since Hocevar moved on. Haha, it's funny because Hocevar was kind of a missile, but I think the Truck Series has gotten more competitive since then. For sure. The Buescher Gregson beef was a funny one. It was funny looking outside of the car because you knew Gregson wasn't. People were like on Twitter were like, "Oh well, Gregson's not going to do anything because Buescher's going to beat his brakes off. He's twice his." I don't think they were looking to get into each other like that. I think Gregson looked like he had already been beat up by the time he got out of the car. Homie looked exhausted standing there next to Chris Buescher. And I don't think Noah said 2 words. I think it was kind of on Buescher. I don't think that it was on purpose, but it's frustrating nonetheless. Buescher kind of squeezes down to wrap the bottom, grabs the curb and just wheel snaps, boop, pulls up into Gregson and kind of wrecks him. It's one of those things. They'll go back, they'll look at it, it'll be fine. But these are 2 Ford teammates, manufacturer teammates, and I didn't want to see Noah and Buescher throw hands on pit road. I didn't want to see Ty Gibbs and Tyler Reddick throw hands on pit road. I didn't think anything we saw at the Cup level was so egregious that we needed a fight. Xfinity Series, another story. I would have loved to have seen Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray drop the gloves and get after each other. Cars, I like what the Cars Tour is doing with penalties. I know the Cars Tour does things where they send drivers to the rear. If there's contact made, they shuffle them back. That's what you're going to do. Okay, bye. So maybe that's a solution for things like that. As soon as that move gets made, the caution gets thrown, even if it's on a green, white checkered, those drivers who have made contact, get shuffled to the back, or the field is frozen, or there's some kind of discretionary rule that is being communicated by the tower, and you try it again. This way you don't end up with a 15 car pileup on the final turn. Yeah, the battery thing for Cindric and for Berry was tough. It's so magnified when mistakes happen or issues happen on pit road at Martinsville, and a lot of the other really short half-mile tracks. So it's hard to come back from. Cindric kind of tried to. I don't know. Cindric. I don't know. I want to know what Cindric's thinking about with that Herps deal. I want to know what's happening there. I think the engines for Penske too, the last few weeks, to your point, has been a combination of obviously like something's not right when they're putting these things together, but also too, the blown engines. There was no blown engine for Penske this week, so that's good. But I think the shifting is tough. I think some of it has to do with the tracks they're at. Maybe there's just things they can shore up in the process of building these motors and making sure that they're running stronger out there at these smaller ovals. Right, it was Cindric and Herbst. I just want to make sure. Yeah. I think Carson Hocevar was kind of going back and forth. Got run down, run up. It was interesting. But again, you see tempers flare. You see guys that are going to show their displeasure on track. Even the stuff with Noah and Buescher, right? Like Noah waited on him to come back around to give him a little tap in the door. But I'd rather see them do it that way than feel like they're so upset with one another they need to clean each other out. And obviously the Cup Series didn't finish in the same kind of way where, the field was all stacked up and they were ready to go on a restart. It was more strung out. Hamlin was out to a 5-second lead. So what time is it? Okay. We have 45 minutes still to cover off. There's a few more other things I want to cover off on. But we'll go through some point standings for the Truck Series right now. Corey Heim is your leader in the Truck Series with Christian Eckes, Ty Majeski, Nick Sanchez, and Taylor Gray all coming up close behind him. I can't use these notes anymore. These notes are garbage. These notes are garbage, guys. Guys, these notes, they're trash. My notes, they're sabotaging me. So, yeah, Heim, Majeski, Smith, Hemrick, Friesen, Ankrum, Infinger, Riggs, Garcia, and Rhodes. That's a fun top 10 points. I mean, Heim is ahead, 20 points off Ty Majeski for the lead. So, there's some work to be done to try to make inroads for Ty Majeski, but Hemrick with the win bumps his way up 3 spots. Stuart Friesen is in 5th in points this year. He's having a great year. You see Tyler Ankrum and Grant Infinger there in 6th and 7th. Lane Riggs, not a pretender after last year. In 8th. Jake Garcia and Ben Rhodes in 9th and 10th. So that's cool. I'm into it. That should make for some great Truck Series action late in the year if it keeps up like this. Denny's flag at the end when he got out of the car, the 11 against the world. People were saying that was a real corny thing. I think if you are paying attention to what Denny's all about, I think it was cool. I didn't think it was corny. There's always people who are going to find things to hate on Denny Hamlin for. I think that's one of kind of what some of this was. But I thought it was cool. A fan gave it to him pre-race. Denny, a newly found Ohio State fan, apparently, is having fun. Was on ESPN when they were out there at some of those games. It's fun. It's cool. I think it's exciting to do things like that. It really creates a great moment, photo-wise too. Gives good camaraderie for the team. If they feel, even if they're not 11 against the world, because they are kind of the premier team, one of the premier teams in the series. If you feel like if that's a way to motivate your group or to motivate yourself, I think it's great. If you want to give yourself that dog mentality, I'm here for it. Point standings for the Xfinity Series, real quick. Justin Allgaier is still at the top of the point standings in Xfinity. Sam Mayer in 2nd. Austin Hill moving up a spot to 3rd. Sheldon Creed moving up a spot to 4th after his 14th P2 finish in the Xfinity Series. Jesse Love moves down after getting shuffled by Austin Hill late in the race. Didn't get the result he was looking for at Martinsville. Sammy Smith, 6th in the points, followed by Zilich. Eric Almirola, again, who's a part-time driver. Eric Almirola is having a wonderful year in the Xfinity Series right now. Ryan Sieg and Carson Kvapil moves up 4 spots after Martinsville to find himself in 10th place overall in the Xfinity Series standings. A couple big notable jumpers. Daniel Dye moved up 4 spots in the points to 11th. Brendan Poole moved up 2 spots in the points to 17th. Parker Retzlaff moved up 3 spots in the points to 23rd. Brad Perez was running this weekend, which was cool. There've been a few drivers in that 45. He had a good weekend. Yeah, those are some just big jumpers for some big jumpers in the Xfinity Series. What's up? Yeetmas Prime. That's such a wild username. I love it. Like Optimus Prime, but Yeetmas Prime. We've got some good stuff picked for Darlington too. They're messaging in here now in the chat, in the group chat, not the chat. Sal won this last week. I'm going to flex on it. I'm here for it. I was close last week. I was almost a back-to-backer this week, but I did, or last week and this week, but I won this week. I'm so happy. So I didn't think I was ever going to win. Who did I pick this week in the points battle? I had the 9, the 12, the 22, the 23, and the 60 for Martinsville. For Darlington, I have Larson, Briscoe. I have Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher, and Tyler Reddick. Those are my picks for Darlington. I think Kyle Busch is going to come to surprise at Darlington. I think he's going to come alive like he did last year. Yeah, Talladega is going to be fun. I think the Cletus saga continuing. He was just on Stacking Pennies as well. He's got some great relationships with some of these NASCAR industry folks. I know Tony Stewart was just out at his Indy 800 race for the Crown Vics. So that's been really fun to see. Greg Biffle's still getting his sleeves torn off. So quite an influence. Garrett Mitchell, Cletus McFarland, AKA, is having on the sport right now. I think it's great. A little culture. I love that they live stream from inside of the car. I think that's still my favorite thing that he was doing in the ARCA series this year. The only series we haven't run down the top list of point standings so far is the Cup Series. So not a ton changed here. Some ups and downs, but there's some big movers, kind of unexpected down low. But William Byron's still at the tippity top. Kyle Larson following him, 16 points off of him. Chase Elliott in that third spot for the point standings. Christopher Bell and Alex Bowman are actually tied on points. Yeah. Christopher Bell has more laps led, more stage wins, and a win. So that puts him ahead in the points ultimately. Denny Hamlin, 6th place in points now with that win. Alex Bowman with that 5th place spot in the Cup Series standings. I think people need to get off Alex Bowman's back a little. I think he's doing all right. Denny Hamlin, 6th. Tyler Reddick, 7th. Bubba Wallace, 8th. Joey Logano moved up 2 spots to 9th. Ryan Blaney stays put at 10th. Buescher moved down 2 spots to 11th. Briscoe on the way up 1 spot. Ross on the way up 1 spot. Priest on the way up 2 spots to 14th. McDowell, 15th. One of the bigger movers, though, after this week, 2 big movers up 4 spots is Todd Gilliland to 22nd in points overall, and Ty Dillon up to 25th in points overall. Who is Brad Perez? It's a great question. Brad Perez is a part-time driver. He's the man. He works about 6 different jobs to afford to race in the industry. Working all over the place. He's a 27-year-old working class first-generation racer of Puerto Rican and Dominican descent, making his way into professional motorsports. Brad started racing go-karts at 17 years old before building a Spec Miata to participate in the hyper-competitive SCCA Spec Miata class while taking on multiple internships in organizations and series, including NASCAR, IMSA, SCCA, and NASA to further elevate his racing and technical prowess. Brad moved to North Carolina in 2019, working for multiple NASCAR Cup, Xfinity, and ARCA teams, as well as trucks over the years. These experiences provided invaluable exposure to the inner working of professional racing teams. And currently, Brad shares his driving knowledge as a high-performance driving instructor at the BMW Performance Center in Greer, South Carolina, and the Ford Performance Driving School in Concord, North Carolina. In 2021, he made his professional racing debut in the ARCA Menard Series with Josh Williams Motorsports at Watkins Glen. The following year, he made his NASCAR Truck Series and Xfinity Series debuts. In all, his races that year, 4 of them, he finished in the top 25, completing every race. If you don't know Brad Perez, though, Brad Perez is cool. He does cool things on the internet. He's a hustler. He's this kind of guy who's out there chasing it. He gets opportunities to do some fun things with some fun sponsors. He has some great social presence out there. He did a great video this week where he's like getting some sim time in before the race today, and he just like drives off the track. Like he's having fun, bringing a little culture to the sport, which is always exciting online. So just always kind of in and out of the seat somewhere. Who did he have on his car this year, or this not this past week, but the week prior? Maybe it was FIU, one of the universities down in Florida. Maybe that was for Homestead, which is cool because that's a school he went to. So he does some fun things, some different things. He gets some good sponsors. I swear to God, somebody better not be at my door right now. Okay, thank God. They've been door knocking in Sal's neighborhood to try to sell me a roof. I don't own the house that I live in. I rent this house, so I can't make no choices on that. But this like the third day in a row, somebody's knocked on my door and tried to sell a roof to me. It's like, maybe don't do that, please. Anyway, Brad Perez, cool guy, goat. Making kind of in that same vein is Ryan Vargas, who's going to run a Canadian series, some Canadian series races this year, which is cool. Talk about somebody who never quits, never gives up. Ran all over truck Xfinity series. Ran the Euro series last year for part-time, full-time, whatever he was doing. And now he's running in the Canadian series. So, he's got great partners and great sponsors. Critical Path Security, I know, is one of his big ones. And they seem to just be on board with him every time he wants to go do something. It's okay, giddy up, let's go. But he's another young, up and coming kind of hot seat part-time guy that hopefully someday gets a chance. See the way these guys race in Xfinity, you never know. Maybe somebody who really feels like they feels like they're working toward it will get a chance in one of those fast cars instead of some of these spoiled baby boys who want to just run into each other all day like it's bumper cars. Wow, this is long. We have a couple of good rumors out there in the NASCAR world. What's up, Aiden? Good morning. After Baldwin's start for ThorSport at Martinsville, there's already people who are talking about him potentially running in 2026 full time in that truck. I think it's a little too early to say that, but we'll see. And then a lot of folks on the internet this week playing are playing the official, where they want to know, they want to put their own imposed penalties on the 8 for that late race move. So kind of interesting. There was one guy who I wanted to call out, like, specifically. I even bookmarked some of these tweets. So I don't know if this is satire or not, but there's a Twitter user, X user. You gotta wanna one is the Twitter handle. So this guy was like, he pops up on my NASCAR X feeds once in a while. He quote tweets Bob Pockrass's tweet. NASCAR officials will evaluate a last lap move by Sammy Smith. My guess is to evaluate it compared to Austin Dillon at Richmond. And he quotes this tweet and says, "What? They aren't even close to the same. Besides that, Richmond and Martinsville are completely different tracks, much different speeds and circumstances. This is stock car racing. Don't call for penalties." I really wonder when people say things like that, if they're just here to like troll. I feel like they are, because he also tweeted at an earlier date, Denny Hamlin is literally trying to destroy NASCAR and American motorsport as a whole as we speak. If you are a former or current driver, fan, or invested in NASCAR and you celebrate Denny Hamlin, you need to do some research into the lawsuit filed against NASCAR. And like, how many responses are there? There's 93 responses. The first 10 are, this is bait, right? So I wonder, like, how many people are out there just rage baiting people. I mean, they get people like me to sit here and talk about it because it's really not easy to tell some days. Some of the opinions people have out there online are so ass backwards, upside down from what I would imagine the overall consensus is. But Those were two tweets I saw this weekend that just my brain started to like bubble and sizzle a little bit because I couldn't tell if it was for real or not. And I'm like, oh, brother, for the love of God, you better be joking around. Because the rage baiters are out there. I missed your Martinsville take. Good race or bad race? A cup race? I thought the cup race was great. I had a good time watching that cup race. Yeah, there were some moments. There were some moments where it was a little bit of a snooze fest, but I thought it was a fun competitive event. I thought it showed the fastest driver, the fastest car won the race. So that was really cool. Kind of change from what we see sometimes in other series where the Xfinity series was a disgrace. It was a total dumpster fire disaster at the end. I mean, the end is what they're going to talk about, but 15 cautions throughout the race is what got us there. It rough when you're pacing for that much time, when you're just getting your doors blown off by other competitors, just beating and banging it at Martinsville like that. So there has to be more heads up racing for the Xfinity series. It can't continue the way it is. So yeah, I like seeing Denny back in victory lane. I used to hate watching him win. And I don't know. He's really changed a lot of hearts and minds, I think. I mean, it was better than seeing Christopher Bell win his 4th race of the year. I would have loved to have seen Bubba win this race. I really wanted to see that. I really wanted to see that ending, but there were a few defenders of Sammy Smith where they talked about how Taylor Gray's bad attitude was the reason he got wrecked. Oh, that tweet has been since deleted. Wow. That's crazy that somebody would delete that. That steaming cold take. Good morning. Good morning. The champ is in the chat. Jammed is here. Come on down. Get a front row seat. Tony will get you a hot dog. You'll be ready to go. 70,000 hot dogs at Martinsville, by the way. Is that disgusting? It's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. To know that people in Martinsville are so dedicated to the glizz that 70,000 hot dogs had to be made for this race weekend. Like, how many hot dogs is 70,000 hot dogs? Like how far around the earth can 70,000 hot dogs reach? If I laid 70 hot dogs. Let's see if Google knows. End to end, how far would that reach? Let's see. Hot dog calculator. There's a hot dog calculator online, guys. We're asking the hard questions. 70,000 hot dogs is a lot of hot dogs. I bet you could reach the moon with 70,000 hot dogs. No doubt. As a longtime Denny fan, I used to love his bad guy act. It feels weird that he's not anymore. I mean, he's definitely converted from that heel character, right? There's other like bad guys out there in the sport, quote unquote bad guys. He's definitely not as dominant as he used to be, so it's hard for him to be the bad guy. What's the average length of a hot dog, though? You know, that's the tough thing. Every hot dog's a little different, depending on what you're getting. A soubrette is going to be different than a Hebrew National. Is going to be different than a ballpark. You know, like we got to really pay attention to our dog lengths. I'm a big soubrette guy. New York hot dog on a cart that you know is dirty with some of those nice hot steamed onions in the sauce. Put that on there with a little brown mustard. Oh, Costco got a mean dog too. $1. I might go to Costco today and get lunch. Just to get a dog. Just to get a dog. A Costco hot dog and drink for $1.60 in today's economy. It's really fantastic. But they're also really just really delicious. I wish they had more toppings for them at Costco. Yeah, Twitter X, whatever we want to call it, was going off after this race. And I wanted to like try to compile a few real hot topics that I saw online. Besides that one dude who's obviously rage baiting everyone, which I want to believe that it's rage bait, but it's probably not. The Smith Gray stuff is going to be a talking point for a while. It's not going to go away. It's going to be interesting to see what happens post Martinsville. Now they're going to have to get back on track and run at Darlington. So I think if these guys get close to each other, I don't think this is the last situation you're going to see something happen between the two of them, right? You have to think there's some kind of retaliatory bit coming for Smith. Despite Sammy Smith defending himself, like I think he knows he's wrong. And I think when they get back to the shop and sit down and have their comp meeting, it's probably already done. Today's Tuesday. Somebody's going to tell him like, hey, you're going to get a shot back. You better just let it die after this. So people were talking a lot about Luke Baldwin's debut in for Thor Sport and the success that he had there. People are curious to see how he'll do outside of Martinsville. Maybe if he gets another chance in the trucks, which Martinsville's a tough track to make your debut. I feel like, but the talk is that he may replace Matt Crafton once Crafton retires. So for all you Matt Crafton fans out there, be not afraid. It seems like it's going to be a slow grow into that seat. Crafton's a lot of fun to watch drive too. He's really good. The Xfinity Wreckfest, where is the line between racing and reckless? We're well beyond the reckless line, but some people are really about the chaos factor. See, every time I click on one of these tweets that I had bookmarked before, it gives me a little preview, and then I click on it and it says this tweet has been deleted. Oh, I guess people are walking back some of their hot takes as they're being put out there online. Because I can't really see how you can defend a 15 caution Xfinity race. I'm a big chaos guy. I think chaos is good. It has its place in sports. But I don't know. It's hard to understand some days when we get the results we get, like what we saw this weekend. I don't know if anybody else saw, but there was the clock guy. Apparently this was somebody who climbed the fence late post-race. Big Denny fan. I've seen that happen a few times. Dover, there was a guy one year who sat on top of the catch fence during green flag racing. So I actually prefer 20 cautions. Maybe next week. Maybe in the fall when they go back. Big Duke. Good morning, Big Duke. Duke, what'd you make of that weekend? What'd you make of that racing down there in Martinsville? What do you think? We got to get these C-Fix guys out of the Xfinity series, put them back on the sim for a while. I agree, Aiden. I think that's a good way to put it. There's a balance where You can have you can have fun. You can move guys, especially at Martinsville, do a little bumping and a little grinding, a little rubbing, but um, you get to a point where I'm cleaning you out. That's not cool. Sammy Smith, he's a menace on iRacing too. Yeah, I'm curious to see what what maybe comes of all this after this particular situation. We were just talking about how I'd be stunned if Taylor Gray didn't retaliate on him at some point moving forward. But I think there's a few drivers that are habitual offenders in terms of racing recklessly, where the 21, the 41, there's a few out there. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but there was a lot of buzz around Homestead coming back as the championship track, and that the city of Miami and Dade County was trying to put an offer together to attract NASCAR to bring its event back to Homestead Miami Speedway. So they talked about it a little bit. There was some conversation about it in the media last week and what it would cost. But that's the way this works at the end of the day. For those of you who don't know, the cities have to pay for NASCAR to come. And I think right now, what is taking precedent down in Southern Florida is they're trying to put something together for the World Cup to attract the World Cup down there. There's lots of great teams in Florida in MLS with some great players. If you don't know soccer, Lionel Messi playing in Miami. So there's a lot to look forward to for those fans there. But hopefully there's some movement as we move forward this year and that championship track conversation continues. I really do think that the three track playoff system is one that works really well. We've talked about it. We talked about it a lot last year too, where why not have them run different types of tracks? All right. Well, the playoff format is the final four are going to run a short track, an intermediate track, a road course, and a super speedway. The best finish out of those four races is your champion. There's lots to think about there, but Homestead could be making a comeback, and if that's what we get in the short term, that's fine with me. Eric Jones DQ'd after the Cup Series race. He was underweight. I don't really know too much about how they select cars for tech post race. It seemed like he was a random pull, but them's is the rules. A lot of people were saying that Legacy might have lost some ballast on a pit stop. Just something that happens. We saw that happen. Who was underweight last year? Was it Bowman? The Bowman penalty at the Roval. You saw the chunk of ballast fall off the car. These are things that happen, and it's just one of the prep errors that happen sometimes. It happens on pit road, or it happens before the race, or whatever. Can't wait to watch Jenny and Bell dominate at New Hampshire live this fall. That's going to be a good race. Loudon's a good track. Wasn't it the first two and the two other random in the field? Yeah, so they took in some of the Toyotas in general. I don't know why Ty Dillon, they do random tech selection, right? Or at the end? They do random? All car Dom's gonna take us to school. Hold on. All cars go through tech. It's more the R&D teardown that's random. Okay, there you go. So I got my wires crossed. So maybe, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Is it a deal where as they go through tech, they look at them and then make their justification for points, penalties, and for DQs after that, right? That would make sense to Sal? That would make sense to me, I think. R&D teardown is usually we hear about that more after like big crashes and like failures of safety equipment or like things like that. I didn't see any penalty get handed down for Ty Dillon though. That doesn't mean it didn't happen, but it means I didn't see it. See? All right. Learn something new every day. Dom's got us locked in, locked up. He doesn't have us as excited as Noah Gregson was to be at Homestead though. Oh man. What do we think of the Hamlin burnout, by the way? I thought that was a fun one. People were like, oh my God, he's copying Kyle Larson. When Denny did the same burnout like years ago. The Hendrick fans are wild. The Hendrick diehards are wild. You guys know, you know who I'm talking about. You know, you've seen these people out there. See if we can't get a couple Darlington throwback schemes pulled up here on stream this morning. We got some time left. I'd love to show everyone some Darlington throwbacks because these are so good. They're so good. The rubber dust on the side of the car and covering the number is beautiful. Yeah, the cars looked used this week. I liked that about what we saw. Oh, I don't want that. Put me over here. Yeah, that's good. It was wild to see Shane Van Gisbergen's car after the race at this race at Martinsville, where that thing was black. The car started out the day white, but it was covered in rubber and debris by the end of the thing. The people who straight up wear Hendrick Cars merch make me laugh. They're just repping a car dealership. I'm all for supporting the sponsors that support the sport, but it is kind of corny. What do we think? Some of these throwbacks, right? This is the 2. Austin Cindric throwing it back to the 79-80 scheme for Dale Earnhardt with Freightliner. Not my favorite. This is the king of the castle. Let you know. I don't think anybody's going to beat. I think anybody's going to beat the Terry Labonte schemes, the Tony the Tiger deal. This one was cool because we got an idea what the tire is going to look like too. This is the 100 years of the Goodyear blimp. Looks like that's what they're going to throw on the tire. They do a little bit of a different throwback tire every year too, so that's kind of different if that's what they go with. This one is a miss. Supposed to be a throwback to the Ken Schrader days in '94. Not for me. We talked about this a little bit on ATYL Live. The round table. Also going to throw this QR code up here while we're all hanging out. We talked about supporting the brands that support the sport. Well, you can support the brands that support A2L Media and Sal. Happy Hour Racing. They're our friends. Just like spiders are our friends, Tom. You can find all the latest officially licensed NASCAR merchandise at Happy Hour Racing. You can even get periodically shipped boxes, winners gear weekly, hat drops monthly. Check out their website. They do some cool things. We have the 10 car of Ty Dillon throwing it back to Patty Moyes. I'll be honest with you, I had never seen this car, this 1989 Patty Moyes machine, in my life. But I like this. It's like simple. I like the colorway. It's very Kansas City Chiefs. You like how I worked spiders are our friends into the ad read for Happy Hour Racing? But I like this scheme. It's not one that's going to blow your socks off, but really simple, really clean, really good looking. The Denny Hamlin Sport Clips throwback to Carl Edwards is cool. A little bit of it gets lost in translation. I think, Duke had a good point. I was talking to him about, we were talking as a group, and he made a good point where a lot of these schemes are really designed for the body lines of the car. And I think this one does a good job of trying to really show that. But the cars are such different shapes now than they were, in 2000 when Carl Edwards was running that 99 machine. But I think this is just a clean looking car in general. I'd like to see Sport Clips run this again. Blaney's throwing it back to the old Menards, kind of a homage to his dad. The Dave Blaney throwback 2006 Charlotte Xfinity car. I like the number font. Big fan of this like old school kind of font that they went with for the 12. The colors are a little different side by side just because of the branding for Menards and versus like Haas Avocados, But it's a cool looking scheme. I think it's going to catch a lot of people's attention. Oh, I haven't seen this one. DeWalt Power Tools. Well, this is a fun. Oh, did I not have this pulled up on TikTok? I'm sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. There you go. I haven't seen this one yet. So this is the DeWalt 20. I like this. It's different. It's not my favorite, but I like it. I like the old school like fonts, the fonts and the number font. The half gray on top is interesting too. But this is a Rick Ferkel throwback. Everybody knows about Rick Ferkel, right? Everybody knows about him. You all know the very deep and ingrained history of Rick Ferkel. Wood Brothers Ford Motorcraft cooked. They cooked. The Jim Clark Indy 500 throwback scheme. This might be one of the best looking cars on track all weekend next week. So keep your eye out. Green and yellow, that Lotus kind of homage with the yellow stripe that's supposed to be representative of like the exhaust. And this is a really cool car. They cooked here. We'll look at it just a little longer, actually. That's like looking at it. Joseph Logano. I'm not a huge fan of this one. He's had some good throwbacks in the past. That orange one that he ran where he moved Byron for the win the one year. I liked that scheme. This one is I don't know. Not as bad as Chase Elliott's scheme, but not my favorite. It is a throwback to the 1976 Cale Yarborough machine. And again, you talk about like the cars being different shapes and different body lines. I think this is a great example of that. Like that scheme worked on Cale Yarborough's car in 76. It's a little bit different now. The king is the castle is here, ladies and gentlemen. The William Byron 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet is going back to the Silver Fox. That's what I'm calling this scheme. The Silver Flames. La Flama Silver. The 2015 Gordon throwback scheme. I don't know how many more William Byron diecasts I can purchase in good conscience. It might be one more because this thing is fantastic. Especially William Byron runs really well at this racetrack too. Would look real good with some confetti on it. I'll tell you that. The Haas 41. Simple but good. Simple but good. We like if you can't get like a real complicated one done good, done right, simple is the way to go. And I think that's what Haas is doing here. Oh, we got a little Dollar Tree throwback scheme to Joe Nemechek from 98. I like this hood design. with the throwback logo. Like when I was a kid and I went to the Dollar Tree, their logo looked like that, like this side profile. Like it was the 3 different tricolor branded bars to the left and to the right, and it looked like a tree. I like black on this car too. And the numbers are like not aligned. They're like staggered on the side here. Well, in the whole font too. They're staggered down. So it's a cool looking car. Oh, baby, this thing's gonna look wild on track. Not many not many good attempts have been made to recreate, the petty blue and red kind of 43 car, the STP car. This scheme works on this car with the body lines, with the way that this red kind of ends on the hood and then the blue begins right before the windshield. It works. It seems to work well on this one because it's been tried in the past and hasn't worked as well. But this one's going to look good at Darlington. Yeah, neon red orange with the petty dark blue behind the 43. It's a throwback to John Andretti when he raced for Petty Enterprises, but good looking car. Again, if you can't do something super complicated really well, it's better to do something really simple. And I think that's what you have here. This is a great looking car, black and white, super clean. Fewer things better is the name of the game for some of these schemes. And this is a great homage to Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus. This is the 200th win throwback scheme. What's up? Good morning. Everything is going as well as it can. Hope everything's going well for you. A lot of ums today. I got to work that out. Who's this? Cody Ware. This is a Ward Burton cat throwback with Jacob Construction. This scheme, when it came out for Ward Burton, was the hottest. I loved the cat scheme. Something about the split color, black and yellow. I don't know. This thing was, you could see this thing from a mile away. This car is super cool. Again, not my favorite, but it's a good looking car. It's not Chase Elliott's car. Let's see. Now we're going to get into some of the Xfinity ones. This is great too. So Carson Kvapil's going to run the Bass Pro throwback to Jamie McMurray. It's not even like a throwback. It's the exact same scheme because it's almost all the same. Well, it's the same title sponsor, right? So I know Jamie came in to do DBC and they surprised him with this too. But I think this is better than some of those ugly cup schemes. This is like chef kiss. I think this is great. I could sit here and look at this all day. And they integrated like some of this like new camo pattern. We saw Truex run this new camo pattern, like you see right behind on the fender here. We saw him run that the whole car a few times before he retired, but it looks really good as like an accent in the design. This is my favorite one of all. So no shade to the Hendrick camp because they've done a great job designing schemes this year for their drivers. I think at the cup level, they always have some of the best throwbacks, but this Parker Retzlaff Alpha Prime Racing throwback to Ernie Irvan is the one. It's the one. It's nothing about it is bad. It's perfect. It is the best throwback car of 2025. It's the best one. You can't convince me otherwise. 1000% bias on my part. I don't know, just something about it. It used to be the Kodak cameras car, and they're kind of using they have a great sponsor with Visual Pack to, and Dr. Teals to get creative with this scheme. This is a great scheme to me. Gregson has the chance to run a Kodak 4 throwback, but we Don't have any news yet. Yeah, I mean, there's still going to be some announcements this week for some of these schemes. So I have a hard time believing, though, if they're going to run it in the Xfinity series, I have to imagine that they're not going to run it at the Cup level also, like the same scheme. And it would make more sense for Noah to run a Harvick throwback, if I'm being honest. But this is a great looking car, though. I love this. Thank you, Alpha Prime, for this. Justin Allgaier running the Brandt Chemical throwback car. I don't think this is like an homage to anybody. I think they just went through here and they said, oh, what can we make that looks cool and old? I like the number. I like that. I like when people get creative with the numbers. And it is kind of throwback with that hard cut line at the pillar. This will look good on track, though, for sure. TMC, the 2003 Dale Earnhardt Jr. 3 Doors Down scheme. Yeah, with the faces and the pictures and the album art. That's cool that they tried to do this a little bit with with this sponsor. Unfortunately, I think this car is going to end up, you're going to see this car in a wad on the outside wall by the time you get to see it really run any good laps, if the 54 has anything to say about it this weekend. But this is a cool looking scheme to the three doors down throwback. I like this too. I like this car. I like weird ones. I like weird colors. See, it looks good though. The lines, it makes sense on this car in particular. Oh, they just released the Gregson throwback. Okay. Maybe we willed it into existence. Oh, let's see. It's a reel? Oh, it's a reel on Instagram. Here, it's me. Hi, guys. I imagine that it's going to be an FRM account thing. 2 minutes ago. Here we go. Okay. It's a Dale Jr. throwback on the 4 car? I'm so curious. I have the audio off to avoid any issues. Oh, baby. That thing is hot. Shoo! They're throwing it back to the OG Dale Jr. first ever start. That's awesome. Nah, that's a great looking scheme. Good choice. I like Carson's paint job. Hope he wins at Darlington. I haven't seen his. See, this is, they come out like in such they come out so staggered that it's hard to tell. I think this is the one right here. This is the one we're talking about. Premiere. It looks like a police car. It's pretty cool looking for a good cause too. Oh, this was 2024, so not this year. Hold on. I don't know. I'm going to keep using the NASCAR website as my point of reference. But I'm sure the 77 will have something good. I like this, the Daniel Dye 10. I think this is a great scheme. The colors are really exciting. It gives Chuck E. Cheese vibes. It makes me throw back to my childhood. This is the Adam Petty 99 Chevrolet throwback for Daniel Dye and the Race to Stop Suicide car here, the Chevrolet for Colleague Motorsports. Watch this. I have had enough of you. Goodbye. This is the Swallish one. The KB throwback. It's a height. I don't have an emotional attachment to any Kyle Busch anything. So it is a nice looking car though. It fits again the body lines with the design up from the bottom with that rake, that kind of design looks really cool. We'll leave it up there for Dom for an extra couple minutes just because he said he likes it. W best paint scheme of all time is what he said too, which is a hot take. I think is a hot take, but it's a good looking car for sure. I like it. Christopher Bell in the Xfinity series doing double duty this weekend. We're on the Sport Clips number 19. Again, simple things good. I like it. Joey Logano better stay away from this one this weekend. This is a Kenseth throwback. Such nostalgia with like the old, like the way that they used to bring the lines up from the bottom of the car like that. It's like when you used to log on to like NASCAR Heat. Oh, I want to build a paint scheme on NASCAR Heat. This is what I feel like you'd start, the base layer. I like that though. It's like such a nostalgic look. This one's really nice too. This is the Dean Thompson's car this is the Crown Royal throwback. This is the 09 McMurray Talladega scheme, but this car looks really good. And they even put like a fake Crown Royal kind of logo on the back that looks kind of like it, but isn't it. But this car is going to look really nice. Some of these like obscure, like mid-level Xfinity teams really go wild on these paint schemes. Ones you wouldn't expect it to come from is, I guess, not obscure, but places you wouldn't expect these schemes to come from is usually where they do come from. Yeah, I can't wait to see pictures of that Gregson one. Like the video is very cool. It's like a tease. It's an homage to Junior. It's great. I want to see the car. Like, I want to be able to like walk around it. You know, is it Irwin Tools? I thought it was Crown Royal. Maybe it is Irwin Tools. Looks a lot like Irwin Tools now that you're talking about it. Ooh. Jeb Burton throwing it back to his dad. I like the tricolor on here for Jordan Anderson Racing. Orange, yellow, and blue. Again, real simple. Not trying to overcomplicate things. Oh, I haven't seen this one yet. This is like a Haviland throwback, right? Yeah, Ricky Rudd throwback scheme. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. This is number 2 now for me. Parker Retzlaff and Kyle Sieg 1-2 in the throwbacks for Sal. Ryan Sieg in the throwback to the 99 Dale Jarrett reverse throwback. So this was the red, white, and blue car. This one's okay. Kind of works, kind of doesn't. It's okay though. It's not real ugly. This is fun. The Sam Mayer 41 with the grass on the front from Kurt Busch's Daytona 500 win. I don't know if I would have put the grass like as a vinyl on here. I think you would have been okay to just run the throwback, right? The Haas throwback, just the way it was, but it's something different. It's cool. I hope Kurt's there this weekend. Brendan Poole. I like the creativity on this. This is the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes car. Even just the way that they redid like the team logo too for the weekend. Capital City Hauling. This is the Jimmy Spencer Noble throwback. I like that they use the font. The font is big on the side here. The big door number. Not slid ahead, not slid behind, just perfectly positioned to fill the door. His spotter's gonna love that. But that's a good looking car. The no bull stuff was so iconic for that Winston era. Okay, okay, okay. Spiked coolers, Nick Sanchez. This is Bobby Unser's Indy 500 throwback. Okay. Oh man, this might go to number 3 on the list. Which one you like, Mike? The Capital City or the 45 or the 48? I like both. There's some good ones. The last couple are really good. This one though, not after the last few, this one's not tickling my fancy just the way the others have quite tickled it. But yeah, Spencer, yeah, it's a good looking car. And I love the black and gold little stripe there too below the pillar. They brought all the details out. The Harris, this is cool. This is the Harry Gant throwback, the 1985 one, the Skull Bandit kind of vibe going on here. The font, again, the font of Harrison's and the number gives that throwback vibe. Real simple colors. Anything Spencer. All right, I'm into it. I didn't think we'd all be on it for Jimmy Spencer, but I'm glad everybody likes this car. I like it. All right, we'll keep moving on. I like this though for Jeremy Clements. I agree. You can't go wrong with anything Harry Gant related. Ah, this thing's sick too. I saw this on Instagram last night. I shared it on my story. This is the Jeff Green Championship throwback, the Yoo-Hoo, right? That was what this was back in the day. I love that the distributor and wire cable company is the sponsor, but they're still like down with this idea of, all right, dope. We're going to have a Yoo-Hoo themed car. Because the sponsors have a lot to say about it, sometimes. Maybe less in the Xfinity series. They're more open to some of the creative. But this is super cool. I remember Nesquik. You're right. Not Yoo-Hoo, Nesquik. I haven't had Nesquik in so long. But anytime I think of Nesquik or Yoo-Hoo, I just think of that I need to run to the bathroom immediately. But it is delicious. Chocolate drink. I love that they don't call it chocolate milk. They call it chocolate drink. Brennan Poole, Jeff Gordon, Looney Tunes scheme is cool. Yeah, I like that one too. I remember racing this in what game did they have it? One of the old NASCAR heats, they had this Looney Tunes scheme with Bugs Bunny on it. I remember running it at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I would never finish very well. So Ryan Ellis throwing it back to himself, which is fire, actually. It's a cool scheme from his Legends car days. Southern Elevator on this car. Damn, that 88 looks good. The Buddy Baker throwback. It looks good. Again, the tricolor, right? White, light blue, dark blue. Boom, boom, boom. All on a line. The silver number. I like that. Yeah, throwing it back to yourself is a hot move. That's how you know you're like big man on campus. Oh yeah, what are you guys throwing it back to? Me. Like, all right. And that's all we got on NASCAR's website right now. I'll go back through them really quick. Like instant reaction to these, right? That's how you know you're officially NASCAR Unk status. It's funny. It's like playing pickup basketball against 13-year-olds at the YMCA. All right. Austin Cindric's. I'm gonna give finger reactions, right? I'm lukewarm on Cindric's throwback. Thumbs up for Kyle Larson. Big win here for this throwback for Terry Labonte. Big thumbs down for Chase Elliott on this one, the Ken Schrader throwback. Just missed the mark a little bit. I'm lukewarm on the Patty Moyes throwback for the 10 car. I like it. Not as iconic as other schemes, but it's cool. Thumbs up for Denny Hamlin and the Carl Edwards throwback scheme. I think that's a good one for sure. I'm lukewarm on Blaney's. Just it's good, but there were more that deserve a thumbs up. I'm lukewarm here on the 22. It's cool. I like the font. Font is not enough alone for the thumbs up to come up. Yeah, thumbs up for sure. The Wood Brothers, the Jim Clark Indy 500 throwback. Give it to me all day long. Inject it into my veins. Joey Logano, not for me. It's not for me. I love Kelly Yarborough. I love it. I love that they want to honor him in the throwback, but I don't love like the way it ended up like looking on the car. It's a tough look just because of the car, not because of the design. It's because of the car itself, I feel like. Yeah, the big thumbs up for the Gordon throwback for Byron. Big time. Big time, big time. Am I overtime? Oh, I am overtime. Sorry, guys. The Haas Custer car, I'm lukewarm on it. It's okay. I'm lukewarm on the 42 too. It's cool. Not blowing my socks off, but it's cool. I'm thumbs up for Eric Jones and the 98 Andretti scheme. I'm here for this one. I like this. I think it's the best looking kind of petty style throwback we've seen in quite a while. I'm thumbs up for the Ally 48 for Bowman, for the throwback Jimmy Johnson. I'm thumbs up for this one too, Cody Ware. Thumbs up for Carson Quapple. I'm 2 thumbs up. We're adding another hand to the mix. Yeah, baby. 2 thumbs up for Retzlav's Ernie Irvan throwback. I'm lukewarm for Allgaier. It's okay. I'm lukewarm for Three Doors Down. No real emotional attachment there for me, but it's cool. I love the effort. I love putting these people's faces on the side. I'm a big thumbs up for the Daniel Dye Kyle Petty throwback. I like. I'm a thumbs up for the 18 of Joe Gibbs with the Kyle Busch throwback for Swallich this weekend. I know Don would be 2 thumbs up. I'm gonna thumbs down the Bell Xfinity one. This just doesn't do anything for me. I'm lukewarm for Kenseth. I'm thumbs up for Kenseth. I'm thumbs up for Kenseth. I'm thumbs up for the Irwin Tools, maybe Crown Royal somewhere homage for Dean Thompson. This is okay. I'm middle of the road for Jeb. 2 thumbs up for Ryan Sieg. Let's see. Where will this one go? I'm not a fan of this one. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know. When I think of Dale Jarrett, I think of what can Brown do for you? And if I can get a what can Brown do for you scheme, that would have been the move. This is okay. Creativity, skill points 10. I feel like why the 41 looked so cool after the Daytona 500 was not the scheme, but the way that the race was won. So I like that it's an homage to him, but it's not my. It's just okay, for sure. Pool with the thumbs up. The Looney Tunes throwback. I'm a fan of that from the Gordon days. Thumbs up for the Noble Jimmy Spencer throwback. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, it's like not for me. This thing. I don't know what we're doing here, but it's not my jam. Just, God bless. Good luck. 2 thumbs up for Handsome Harry. I feel like it'd be sacrilege if I didn't give it 2 thumbs up, right? I'm gonna give the Nesquik car 2 thumbs up too. Big fan of that. This is just I can't give this a rating, right? Because this is an unk status. I like that. Like, if you're throwing it back to yourself, that's the craziest thing of all time. So this one is in a league of its own. Thumbs up for Zillich, the Buddy Baker throwback. I'm into it. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like the Legends one, but it was a choice. And that's it. So I think the best Cup Series one is going to be the 5 for sure. And I think the best Xfinity Series one is going to be the 4. Based on what we have right now. Not all the schemes have been released. So we'll see. We know that the 4, they just had their reveal this morning. It's like an all black throwback to Junior's first ever start. So thumb rank Junior Gregson's. Let's see. I want to get another look at it. Let's go back and watch again. Let's go back and watch the teaser one more time. Oh my God. I love some of these April Fool's ones. Some of these April Fool's posts are great. We have to watch the whole video again, though, because we don't have photos of it yet. Yeah, this was 21 minutes ago. Let's see. I love the social pull here where they show like all of his accomplishments and then rewind. I like that. I like the social media storytelling happening in this video. Yeah, it's a thumbs up for me. It's hard to get a really good look at this. It's 2 thumbs up for me. It's a good looking car for sure. It's one of these cars that's super simple. And I like that they use the Beefaroo. They use like a Beefaroo alternate logo too. That's like throwback. Because what is Beefaroo's colors are like white, lime green. They're like wild pop colors. Like I like that they went back and were cool with the red and the black, like they had on Junior's car. Yeah. Some cool schemes for Darlington. So do we want to do the Wordle real quick and then I'll get out of here? I'm already almost a half an hour over. Where I thought I wouldn't have enough to talk about today, and we went way over time. Since we're talking about throwback schemes. Since we're talking about Darlington. Okay. All right, chat. Help me out. I did 2 rows. We know there's an L and a W involved. The W is tough. The W is tough. Not the first letter either. Not the first letter either. I'll throw this up on the bottom too. I like bucket hats. If you're into bucket hats, you can see that on the stream right now. Scan the QR code. Get yourself an ATYL Media bucket hat. They're dope. We know there's no A. I know you are the Wordle God, Reamsy. It's tough. You're talking about J. The vowels are tough, right? Because we're out A, we're out O. Wow. I'm glad you didn't give it away. I'm glad you gave us the hint and didn't give it away. Big W's in the chat for Reamsy. That was a good one. It really made me have the light bulb come on moment, make my brain work for it a little bit this morning. Oh man. All right, cool guys. So I was Juul. That should tell you where my brain rot has gotten me. My internet brain rot has taken me to a place where when I think of J and L in a Wordle, it's Jewel instead of Jewel Jewel. Oh, that says more about me than it says about anything else. It's not good. Mango flavored brain rot. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but no, I'm glad we were all able to come and hang out today. This was a thicky boy of a show. I appreciate everybody who stopped in, stopped by, gave us some of their thoughts. Glad we could go over some of the throwbacks together. That was cool. I know there's a lot of people who talk a lot about that stuff, but I like being able to do it live. Get a little bit of instant reaction from everyone. But no, some big things out of Martinsville. Real quick, recapping. The Xfinity stuff is going to bother me all week because like there's going to be more to it from Martinsville that's going to spill into Darlington. So help me God, if that 4-car Parker Retzlaff has a scratch on it at the end of the race at Darlington, I'll be so mad because that car is going to look so good. It's going to look so good. I can't wait to see it on track. But no, the cup race was great. Denny Hamlin getting his win. He's locked into the playoffs. Take another shot at this championship thing that seems to evade him. Austin Hill getting another win in the Xfinity Series, in that finish where he himself bowled over a few to get to the front, but Sammy Smith and Taylor Gray, just that situation is no good. They need to figure that out. However, it needs to be figured out. That's not for me to decide, but calling people out and embarrassing them into behaving well, maybe that's the least we can do. I think I felt like the cup race was good because I was exhausted watching the Xfinity race. Like the 15 caution Xfinity race, like I was so tired by the end of it. I was like, yeah, cup race is great, dude. Like I didn't have to watch the cars pace the whole night or the whole day. So maybe my opinion's a little skewed on that one. But yeah, and even the trucks. So got some good truck action this weekend. Daniel Hemrick getting the win there. I didn't see anything major coming across the wire from other series like modifieds, or I know they were at Wake County this weekend. ATYL fam was out there. Buddy Pulley was doing his thing on track. Make sure you check that out on the ATYL YouTube channel. I know there's a run and retro coming out soon. Check that out on the YouTube channel as well. There's some great content. If you're missing out, be sure you're tuned in. This is just one small facet of what happens at ATYL. So if you see me on TikTok, there are other places that we exist all at the same time. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter under the ATYL media banner, and right here on TikTok for Slide Job Sal's morning show, Splash and Dash extravaganza. So appreciate everybody who's stopping by and supporting the stream and supporting the sponsors who support us with Happy Hour Racing. They've done some great work with us. They've sent us some cool things. It was a little cold in here this morning, so I threw the sweatshirt on. I wear the same sweatshirt every morning, but when it starts getting a little nicer out and it's not cold in the house when I wake up out of bed, can't wait to rock some of the merch they sent and really rep them. They've done a lot for us. So the closer we get to 5,000 followers on TikTok as well, we're going to get a giveaway cooked up for a 5,000 follower celebration. It's going to take a little bit of time to once we get a little closer, I think. It's kind of tough right now, but we're going to do some giveaways for when we get close to that. So some good goals to look forward to, everybody. But appreciate the follow. Appreciate everybody who sticks around, comes into the stream, and we'll see you next week.